Hello everybody, I am McCrory and today I'm back with a brand new video. Today we're in a bit of a different location again. This is a bit of a weird one, but it's about the third different location within like 4 months, so apologies for that. But I'm currently at uni and I've come home for Christmas, so bit of a different setup, bit of a makeshift setup. This is literally just my laptop on a windowsill and holding my microphone like this because why not? Whilst I've obviously down for Christmas, The Rise of Skywalker came out in cinemas, and I don't usually do film reviews. I've tried in the past and I've done different things, but I know it's not my main form of sort of YouTube content, so I don't try to do it very often. But when I've got something to talk about, I kind of just want to. I want to just get that off my chest a little bit. And I was obviously lucky enough last night to see the midnight release of The Rise of Skywalker, alongside The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi in a sort of triple bill type thing. It was a phenomenal event, very well put on by the people at Odeon. So yeah, I very much enjoyed that. Looking back at The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens was worse than I remember. Weirdly enough, I had very high expectations for that one, and I came out of it going, that was a bit dull, actually. I didn't really like it as much as I remember it. And The Last Jedi was the total opposite. I remember disliking that, and then coming out of it going, actually, that was a pretty good Star Wars film. Now, so just take that as you will. I don't really care. Everyone's allowed their own opinions and stuff, whether you like or dislike The Last Jedi. The film's 2 years old now, so it doesn't actually really matter. So if anyone's going to pick that tiny little comment out there and go, blah, 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 then get a life, because it's a 2-year-old film at this point. However, The Rise of Skywalker is not a 2-year-old film. That came out, today, as of recording this, hopefully uploading it today as well. We'll see whenever I get that edited. The Rise of Skywalker is an interesting one. It premiered to press only a few days ago, which is obviously a worrying sign naturally when a film airs so close to its sort of press screening, because it worries you because it doesn't give much time for the press to make an impact on whether people see it or not, which usually kind of suggests it might be bad. And then the press reviews started coming out and it did look quite bad. However, I liked The Rise of Skywalker. I thought The Rise of Skywalker was a good Star Wars film. I did not think it was a good movie. I thought it was a good Star Wars movie, which is two very different things. Like, I think Revenge of the Sith is a good Star Wars movie, but it's a terrible movie, you know what I mean? So basically this is not going to be a very structured review. This is going to be very much just me talking at a camera, talking about some points that I quite liked. There's going to be probably some spoilers. I'm expecting so, because you can't really talk about this film without spoilers, so I'm just going to go off on full spoiler territory. So if you don't care about watching this film, or you've already seen it, then stick around. If you do care about spoilers and you don't want anything spoiled, and then I'd probably head away now until you've seen it and then come back and then catch my opinions on it, because there's some very interesting points that were raised in this film, and I think they should be addressed. So, I mean, first off, obviously I've seen the critic reviews and I didn't want to get my expectations too high, so I went in with sort of open eyes, just sort of going, right, okay, well, let's see what they can give us. The opening crawl straight away worried me because name-dropping Palpatine, like, bang, right there, like, he's back, he's been spreading messages, and it's like, it's almost as if this should be in episode 10. That sounds weird, and I don't want to mess about. This, I feel, would have worked better as an episode 10 with a different film being episode 9, to kind of bridge the gap between The Last Jedi and this film, because this film and The Last Jedi do not gel together that well. And yeah, obviously, Star Wars is used to having time gaps between its films. I'm aware of that, but they're usually quite explained and nothing too big. In the first 5 minutes of this film, Palpatine's there. And it's exposition, 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 exposition. Oh, I died, but now I'm back, and oh, I know who Rey's parents are, oh, all this and that, and then oh, I'm behind it all. Baby Snoke growing in a bloody fish tank in that first 5 minutes. And it's like, you get about 10 minutes into the film, and it's like, every scene is exposition after exposition, and it's just worrying, you know? The people I was with, Cooper sitting next to me, like, he's loving it, because it's Star Wars, and it's great, and it's Palpatine, and the music, and yeah, it's fantastic, don't get me wrong, and it's exciting. But I was sitting there really worried because the first 10 minutes were really not impressive. I was like, this is bad filmmaking. Like, I know it sounds bad to say, but even Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones felt like an actual movie. This opening 10 minutes was like, I don't know, it was like a test edit. It wasn't like a final film. It's like a film that shouldn't be coming out for maybe like 2 or 3 more years. Like, it just feels so unfinished, at least in that first couple of minutes anyway. After that, however, the film did pick up. The film really did pick up. It picked up when Rey, Finn, and Poe went on their own adventure. They went to the sand planet thing with Chewbacca and C-3PO and BB-8, and it was good. And that was where the film picked up, because it became more of an adventure type thing. A lot of people complain about the whole video game type story, where it's like, you need to find this artifact from this person, you need to speak to this person, and all the way through. Basically, that's what the good people are doing. They're trying to find this Sith artifact type thing so they can find Palpatine. Meanwhile, Kylo Ren's tracking down Rey to try and kill her. You're sort of looking at it in the sense that, yeah, that is the whole film, basically. It's bouncing back and forward. The good guys finding lots of different things to try and get somewhere, and then Kylo Ren following them, and when Kylo Ren gets there, the good guys run away. Basically the whole film, up until about the last hour, 45 minutes. The last hour, like 45 minutes type stuff, is very much just the final battle. You got this whole thing of the final order, Palpatine's ships rising up and all the Sith coming together. It turns out that Palpatine wanted Rey in his presence all along, for reasons we'll explain in just a little bit, but it's like, it's good. The final battle, I can't deny, was enjoyable, and as a Star Wars fan, I'm sitting there grinning away with a big dumb smile on my face, because I love the Emperor as a character, so I'm glad he was back, to an extent. But watching him against Rey with loads of Sith and fantastic sort of ancient chanting, and it was exciting. And that final battle sequence, you know, between the different ships and Star Destroyers, and it was exciting. I can't deny that it was something that almost felt deserved. It was something that had been coming for a while, and I'm glad we got there. You know, it was a bit of a messy film, don't get me wrong, especially the first half an hour was incredibly messy. But the film was really good, and I will stand by that. I really did enjoy the film. Now, I do need to rewatch it to see where it would stand in my overall Star Wars, like, episode ranking. If I'm ranking the trilogy, the sequel trilogy, it would probably be like Force Awakens at the bottom, and then the top two, I don't know. It could be Last Jedi, it could be Rise of Skywalker. I genuinely don't know. And a lot of people will think that's really weird, because, like, surely the Force Awakens is the easiest going one. But yeah, but that's fine. I was just quite bored during the Force Awakens. Maybe it's because I've seen it so many times and I'm just not looking at it with fresh eyes anymore. But I was bored quite a bit in the Force Awakens. The Last Jedi has some boring stuff, but the actual Sith and Jedi stuff in The Last Jedi was actually really entertaining. And this film never bloody stops. It never slows down. It's entertaining throughout, I guess. Like, it's constant action, adventure. That's a bad thing, don't get me wrong, because I do need time to breathe in a film occasionally. However, I was always on the edge of my seat waiting to see what was going to happen next. There were some really funny bits. The comedy was pretty well done in this one, probably the best it's been done out of the trilogy. The characters were great. C-3PO had a lot to do, which was great. I love that character. Finn, Rey and Poe, all really great characters, like bouncing off each other really well. I don't think there's much more I can really talk about without really delving into the big reveals and spoilers and stuff. So we'll just kind of do that. So basically, Rey, her parents were nobodies, but her granddad was Emperor Palpatine. I don't know how I feel about that. I joked about that going into the film, but that was revealed to be the actual thing. I kind of guessed it. Now, I don't mind this, and I really like the poetry between the fact that Kylo Ren is the grandson of Darth Vader, and Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine. That's really kind of poetic and works really well, and I'm surprised no one really thought about that before, because that actually really works quite well. However, there was a few things I wasn't keen on the way they handled it. I mean, that's probably the only thing, the big reveal actually I really did like. I wasn't bothered by it that much, but there was a few little things, and it's like hints towards Rey going towards the dark side that I really liked. The only things I didn't like was Rey feeling a little bit overpowered. Now, I'm not going to go on the whole sort of Mary Sue route, because I'm not a knobhead, basically, but the way I'm kind of describing it is that it felt like she was very overpowered, considering, you know. I mean, Luke was a little bit overpowered, well, not overpowered, but Luke felt like a powerful Jedi in Return of the Jedi, and Rey felt more powerful here, mainly because they've got a bigger budget to do more impressive things with the Force that we haven't seen before. But she sort of floated and sort of glided down to the ground, so can she fly? I don't know, maybe. She stopped a ship mid-air and then lightninged it. That was the one thing I didn't like with her powers, was the lightning hands, because it was sort of a hint towards her being granddaughter of Palpatine when she, like, sort of used the lightning to destroy the ship by accident. But that was never used again. Like, that power was never used from Rey ever again. So part of me is just like, That's a bit weird, isn't it? Like, if you're going to introduce that as a concept and have that as a story point, you need to go somewhere with it. You can't just leave it and just ignore it and forget about it, because then it's pointless. You may as well have just not done it. And I agree, they probably shouldn't have had the lightning hand thing, because that didn't need to happen. It didn't go anywhere, it didn't have any context, it didn't have any purpose, it just felt totally unnecessary, unfortunately. Kylo Ren was brilliant. We got to see Han Solo back again in some sort of memory thing to try of pull Ben Solo to the light side, which was lovely. Don't get me wrong, that was a fantastic scene, very emotional, very well done, and I quite liked Kylo Ren's redemption. It felt, I don't know, did it feel natural? I guess. It did kind of come out of nowhere a little bit, but I think with the context of Leia's death, yeah, Leia does die in this, it worked really well, and I really liked that. I also like how Rey wanted to go into exile. And I knew when she crashed her ship on Act 2, I knew there's only one ship that's left on that planet that she can take, and that's Luke's X-Wing. And seeing Luke, or Luke's Force Ghost, lift the X-Wing out of the water and onto the land, it was exciting. It's almost as if Star Wars has come full circle again, and I really like that. However, what I don't like is the ambiguity of how Force Ghosts even work now, because basically, there's a few things that I don't really like about it, and I'll just explain. It is sounding nitpicky, and I'm aware of that, but I'm just venting. It's not scripted, this. I'm just going off one. But in The Last Jedi, Yoda was able to summon lightning. He was able to tap Luke on the head with a stick. In this film, Luke was able to use the Force to pick something up and put it on land, so the X-Wing. He was also able to catch a lightsaber mid-air. So basically what you're telling me is that Force Ghosts can just do everything a normal person can do, because if Luke can hold a lightsaber, then surely he could use a lightsaber as well, without the thing of being stabbed, because he can't be stabbed, he's a ghost. So, could he just go into battle with a lightsaber and just, like, kill everyone? Like, what's that about? Like, it just feels a bit weird that they can actually interact with us, and I didn't mind it as much in The Last Jedi. Like, it somewhat was a bit more ambiguous. With this, Luke actually catching the lightsaber was like, ooh, don't know if I like that. That was a bit far for me, because if he can hold the lightsaber, then he can do anything with it, and that was sort of like wrong in a way. Force Ghosts, there should be a responsibility, from a Jedi dying. Like when a Jedi dies, that should feel concrete. It shouldn't upgrade their power. You know what I mean? It should decrease it. It should decrease their power, influence, all that sort of thing. It shouldn't bump it up another level. You know what I mean? So like, I didn't have any fear about anyone dying after that, because if you knew that in the beginning of Last Jedi, if you knew that when a Force Ghost die, or when a Jedi dies, they become more powerful and then basically immortal, then and they can do same as everything anyone ever could, then there was absolutely no problem with Luke dying, because he's technically just upgrading himself. However, I will argue that Luke wasn't in this film as much as I thought he would be, actually, which is kind of unfortunate, really. But then again, at the same time, he was probably in this film as much as Ben Kenobi was in Empire, or Ben Kenobi was in Return of the Jedi, so I can't really complain too much. I love the inclusion of Leia's lightsaber being used by Rey. That's very clever. Really enjoyed that. I love the scene where Rey's on the ground and has to like encapsulate all the Jedi spores, spirits, souls, whatever you want to say. Hearing the voices of Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, Samuel L. Jackson as Mace Windu, Qui-Gon Jinn, Ahsoka Tano, loads of other people as well. There's so many characters. Yoda was there. You hear all their voices, and she becomes this sort of Jedi, the Jedi, and Palpatine is the Sith, and I love that. And I also love that she won as well. Very simply won, but I quite like that. And obviously adopting the name of Skywalker, I could see it happening. When the Force Ghosts are telling Rey to rise, I kind of guessed at that point she'd adopt the name Skywalker, because obviously the title of the film is Rise of Skywalker. So I quite like that she adopted that name towards the end of the film. Going back to Tatooine, yeah, it was a very nice shot to end on, and I probably couldn't be more happy with how they ended it. It was messy. It was a bit weird. It was a bit stupid at times, and to be honest with you, in the long run, it's probably going to get even weirder and worse in retrospect, in all honesty. I need to watch it again. I need to form a better opinion on it, because I'm still just confused, really. But at the end of the day, right, it's Star Wars, right? Most Star Wars films are crap, and that's a hefty statement to make from a Star Wars fan, but they are. You're not expecting a Star Wars film to blow you away and be amazing. You know, Rogue One was the last time that happened, and realistically, Star Wars just is a bit crap. You know, the concept of it is cheesy and it is tired and done at this point, that you can't really watch a new episodic Star Wars film and be surprised when someone dies, or someone becomes a Force ghost, or someone does this, or someone does that. I was intrigued by it, I was happy with it, but at the same time, the film had a lot of flaws, you know. I loved the film, but it had flaws. It had very clear flaws that I wasn't happy with, and yeah, it does detract from it a little bit, but at the end of the day, I came out with a smile on my face. I enjoyed the film. Definitely going to buy it on Blu-ray, because I need a full collection of Star Wars films, so I am looking forward to it. Like, I'm not sitting here going, oh god, it was the worst film I've ever seen. I know Jeremy Jones, who I very, very much respect as an online reviewer. Honestly, I really do. I love his content, and I've been watching him for years. Him saying this is the worst of the 9 films, in his opinion, is baffling to me, because yes, this film was weird. Like, it had a lot of very ambitious stuff, and it was a bit crap in places, and it was a bit rushed in places, but by no means would I prefer to watch Attack of the Clones or The Phantom Menace over this, you know. So yeah, that's basically my opinion on The Rise of Skywalker. If you have seen it, well, I hope you have, because if you haven't seen it, Christ, sorry for ruining it for you. But if you have seen it, please do let me know what you think in the comments, because I am genuinely interested to see what people thought of this film. I personally really enjoyed it, despite its flaws, and I'll happily watch it again very soon. But yeah, I want to know what you guys think. Yeah, so that's just let me know. Sorry about this sort of kind of unscripted kind of rant type thing, because that's basically what it is. But that's pretty much that. Anyway, I hope you have a lovely day. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Comment below for any more suggestions in the future. Subscribe to the channel with notifications if you haven't already. And I will see you all next time. Have a lovely day. Bye bye.